it's Maggie and I'm gonna explain some stuff! Hey, welcome back. Today we are talking about Francisco Pizarro and also a little bit of New Spain. It's gonna be kind of a mishmash of things. Francisco Pizarro, maybe you've heard the name. He was basically the guy who destroyed the Incan Empire, which is basically Peru. A little bit of background. Vasco de Balboa, in 1513, found the Isthmus of Panama. The Panama Canal, basically. There wasn't a canal there. But where it is now, I can't say that word. So, he found that thing in Panama. And Francisco Pizarro overthrew Balboa and was like, I'm going to take credit for this. 1520s, 1532, found the Incan Empire and Peru. That rhymed. So, the Incans were kind of on the end of a civil war. So they were already heckin' unstable. The leader at this point is named Atahualpa. He's going to be important because he did not handle invaders very well. Real quick over to Spain, because as you know, to understand what's going on in the New World, we have to understand what's going on in the Old World. So, Spain. Carlos I is king. He becomes the Holy Roman Emperor. He becomes Charles V. If you've ever heard of Charles V, they're like, let's anglicize your name. Now you're Charles. But Carlos, Charles, he's a pretty cool dude, because at this point, Cortez has already come, Christopher Columbus has already come. So Charles V is like, hey, maybe you should not kill natives. Maybe that's a good idea. Hashtag convert, don't kill. Make them Christian. They can't be Christian if they're dead. And then Martin Luther shows up and Europe explodes. But back to the New World. Pizarro is looking for El Dorado, which is a great movie, by the way. Completely historically inaccurate, but a great movie. Watch it. So he's looking for El Dorado, which is like this mythical land of gold. And the Incans they had a lot of gold, to be fair. They had a lot of it, but they didn't really see it as currency. They thought it was the blood of the sun god. So it's sacred, it's important. You use it to make important things for religious purposes. Like using it as money was like, what? Basically, Pizarro shows up, and word gets to Atahualpa. There are these guys. Side note about the Incas, they had this awesome road system. It was so cool because they had this mita system, which is basically a labor system that said everyone has to do public works, like build roads. It's kind of like what we see later with the Great Depression. My boy Teddy. So they have all these great roads and alpacas or llamas. I don't remember. Pack animal. They had a really advanced road system. It was super cool. So anyway, Atahualpa hears about these guys and he's like, perhaps I should consult my oracle. And the oracle's like, these invaders are going to kill you, my dude. And Atahualpa's like, haha, lol, nah, they're small and non-threatening. They thought that their god, you see a lot of similarities to the Aztecs here. They thought that their god would be a fair-skinned guy that came from the east, which Pizarro did. And they're like, it's a god! And they're just looking for gold. They're literally, and they show up and they're like, oh, there's all this gold! Ah! Actually, like later, They don't find as much. It's so crazy because they were on mounds and mounds of gold the whole time. Because the Mochica Empire, which was pre-Incas, they were heckin' rich. They were heckin' rich, and they had all these tombs with their princes, like the Prince of Sipan tomb, which is like the richest tomb in the New World. It's been plundered today. It's been plundered before, but when Pizarro was there, it was untouched. And they never found it, even though they were like literally on top of all of this Mochica gold. But no, they just decided to destroy the Incan Empire, but you know, that's fine. So Pizarro never really found anything, even though they dug a lot. They found potatoes. That was exciting. The Incan Empire fell. It's not a really interesting story how it fell, but it's Pizarro's fault, and they were already a mess from their civil war. And, there's like a little story where Pizarro like kidnapped Atahualpa for ransom, but then killed him anyway. It wasn't cool. Now they're gone. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of the Inca Empire part. Now to part 2. New Spain. Remember Cortez, this boy. So he establishes New Spain. And so now people are coming in and they're making their lives there. It's about the 1520s. And a lot of religious people are coming over, because if you know the 3 G's, God, glory, and gold, are the reasons people come to the New World. Spain's a lot about God. It's a lot about God. A lot about gold as well, but for New Spain, God. And it's around this time because they're getting gold and they're making gold mines and like a lot of other precious metals. And they were basically like, hey, natives can be exploited, they can be slaves. And so it's around this time that the law of Burgos was put into place, which basically said Native Americans were not to be harmed if they accepted Spain as sovereign and converted to Christianity. Remember our boy Charles? He's a cool guy. Basically, Cortez wasn't happy about this, but King shows, he's like, hey, don't kill them if they're willing to be Christian. And in 1534, Pope Paul III actually had to issue a command called the Papal Bull Sublimus Deus, which basically had to say Native Americans have souls. This actually had to be established by the Pope, that Native Americans have souls. And so this really important guy, Bartolomeo de las Casas, came to the New World to speak on behalf of the Native Americans. They have souls! And then people were like, we still need slaves. Why would we can't possibly function without slaves. So he's like, hey, so Native Americans have souls, but you know who doesn't? That's right, Africans. Then that's kind of how the African slave trade started. So it's like, thanks for saying the natives have souls, but now we're using Africans, which is apparently better. Anyway, Spain. Council of the Indies was basically 4 viceroys, which are like governors, and the audiencias. Am I saying that right? It's King's Court, and they had so Spain had very strict controls. Spain had very strict control over their colonies. Like Europe, when we see later with the 13 colonies, is kind of like, do what you want, pay taxes, but Spain was like, we're watching you. They started this policy of encomienda. I can't pronounce things. Which was policy of giving titles to land. So it was kind of like a feudal society with, you know, people who own land, and then the governor that owns those people, and then the king over in Spain. So that was basically how that was being set up. Society is growing. It should be noted that in North America, they established this colony called St. Augustine, the first Spanish colony in North America. But North America didn't really have any gold or silver that they could find. So they were just kind of like, so Spain technically claimed North America, but they never really set up a colony there because it wasn't really important to them because there's no gold. That's basically it. Next time we're going to talk about England and all the things that they're going through while all of this is happening. And it's actually one of my favorite things to talk about ever, so be excited. That is all I have for you guys today. Study hard, stay in school.